Hey, so we're in the headquarters here in our conference room at Home Property Management, and we're talking about phone best practices. And I'm an old dog in property management. In 1985, when I started in property management, we didn't even have like cell phones. We had a Motorola brick phone, but like it was really expensive. So phones have changed a lot. And a lot of property management companies are still answering their calls according to the way things used to be done. And you guys, I want to talk to you because my daughter, Megan, my son-in-law, Tim, you guys are working in the management company, and your quality of life, thanks to Steph, who's joining us, our virtual front desk and tenant relations. Is that, Steph, what's your title?
Officially, on the website, it's called Property Management Assistant
and
Front Desk Admin.
Okay, yeah. And so because of the way we've got our business structured, we've improved things. Before we talk about what they were like, do you remember what life was like growing up with me as a property manager?
Yeah, you were on the phone a lot. I don't remember it being a brick when I was around, but
the brick phone, that was before.
Yeah. We had technology had advanced at that point, but yeah, I remember you being on the phone a ton when we were kids. Yeah, I mean, always. Yeah.
Just running a management company and dealing with customer service all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I had a very good quality of life, and it was hard for me to get work done during the business day because the phone was always interrupting me. Do you guys feel like the phone is always interrupting you during your workday right now?
No.
No? And you're looking at our local staff right here. We have one leasing agent who's not with us today, Kimberly, right?
Yeah.
And thanks to this fine young lady and our hotlines and our call centers that we sub our calls to, we have a much better scenario. So 2-3 years ago when you came on board, what was customer service like?
It was 3.5.
3.5 years ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, and the customer service, we didn't have the phones dialed in, so a lot of times your first interaction with someone would be, their pure frustration with trying to talk to the right person, or, like there was no way to keep up with the volume of calls. When I'd answer the phone once, there'd be two more calls coming in, and then I had to actually take care of what I spoke to that person about, so it was really hard to keep up with the phone, and then also follow through on what you need to do after you have those conversations. So.
Yeah. And back then we had our auto attendant answering our main published line and no hotlines.
Yeah.
And so an auto attendant is press 1 for this, 2 for that, and it's called frustration to the caller. And didn't you say something about when they finally got through to you, they were pissed that?
Yeah, I mean, they were already annoyed. I mean, because if you think about it, on your to-do list, when you have to call a company, how many times do you get somebody to answer on the first time? They're so over it. Every time you have something you have to do like that, you just speak to an auto attendant and wait on hold for forever.
And do you remember how many messages and voicemails you used to get?
Yeah, I mean, it was my goal to get back to all the voicemails that day before the next business day. It was really hard.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Well, and so now we've got things set up different. So here's our best practices that we do as of now at our management company. And so, Steph, you answer our main line live, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And what sort of call volume do you think you get? Do you, if you had to guess, how many calls in a day or how many calls in an hour?
It really varies because right now I only receive less calls than the usual.
Okay.
Like maybe less than 15.
Okay.
If it's really slow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come that much when it comes to how soon I'm going to receive a call. It can't really predict.
Okay.
Maybe because if it's really slow.
So it's slow right now because it's January, but in the summer you probably are going to find that you get more than 15 calls in a day.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And so part of the reason why we have a lower volume of calls is we have hotlines. And the first hotline we have for our best practices is our leasing call center hotline. And so We estimate between 60 and 70% of our phone call volume to our management company is the leasing line.
Yeah.
And so 60 to 70% of those calls are going to Virtually Incredible's call center.
Yep.
They answer those calls for us 24/7. How many leasing calls would you say you get a day or a week?
Very little. Yeah, very little a week. I would say maybe 2 or 3 a week.
2 or 3 people bypass and somehow land in your lap.
Yep.
So 2 or 3 leasing calls. Do you get any?
I don't, maybe like once or twice a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our leasing calls are really going where they belong, to a call center that answers them 24/7, 365. Another hotline we have is our maintenance is outsourced,
Yep.
including the maintenance hotline,
Yep.
which is a special dedicated phone number. You can't call our main line and get press 1 for this or press 2 for that, because
Yeah, the only time you would get the auto attendant is if Steph couldn't answer it and then the backup couldn't answer it, which is like never. So
Right.
there's a backup for
so it's
everything.
a step 3.
It's the fail safe, yeah.
And so we've got leasing going out, we've got maintenance going to a hotline. We have a new owner hotline.
Yep.
So that's published in all of our ads so that new owners, and how does that get handled?
So the new owner hotline goes to me first, and then it goes to Tim second, and then to you third. And so that one is never, very rarely ever gets a voicemail, because it's only going to one place. It's designated for me, and I'm not dealing with other calls, so I'm available to answer it.
And you were talking about the customer service levels from 3.5 years ago to where they are now. Tell us about that.
It's just tremendously higher because, did you see the Darren Hunter meme recently that said if you want to tell someone what it's like to be a property manager, give them a list of things to do before the end of the day and then call them every minute to interrupt them. And so, as far as like quality of just feeling like, okay, I have my tasks and it's realistic that I can get them done, I feel like we all have more of that. So we're able to be more pleasant on the phone because we're not overwhelmed. We're starting off on such a better foot because the person dialed one number and got to the person they were trying to speak to as if they were calling a friend, not a business. And so you just look so much better from the get-go. They're always like, oh, I thought that was your voicemail when I answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so nice. Like, because most people just can't get to all the calls.
And it's funny, when you were talking about when you list a new owner, what's the experience like because of our accessibility to our owners?
It's lovely. Once they're like, you guys are the first person that called me back when we go to set the appointment. And then anytime they reach out to me, I'm available. And it's like, oh, this has got to be important if it's getting to me. So our urgency to answer them every time is through the roof.
Right. You're not like, oh, am I going to get stuck on the phone with something that, isn't in my turf.
And most management companies struggle to answer new owner calls because they're so busy answering other calls.
We did, yeah. It was so hard for us in the beginning.
And at our company, Steph, if you get a new owner calling you because they called the main line instead of the new owner hotline, you can get that, you can say, hang on, let me connect you to somebody, right? You make sure you do a warm transfer to a live human being, right?
Yes, that's right.
And so, it's made our whole phone interaction better, and it's made our quality of life better. I'm going to brag, we started our meeting today with a pat on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the last 6 weeks, we were able to totally revise our price points at our management company, totally revise our management agreement, and totally revise our website. And we could do that in 6 weeks because we actually have that 4-letter word called TIME.
Yeah.
Right?
Uninterrupted.
Right,
Yeah.
And we were able to, get some stuff done. And so I'm real proud of, what we were able to accomplish, because in this meeting, we probably had, during this video right now, calls to our application hotline, calls to our maintenance hotline, calls to our leasing hotline, and none of them, including our front desk person who's been on this call with us for this period of time, were interrupted. While we could shoot a video with you, what time is it?
It is 2:45 on a Wednesday.
2:45 on a Wednesday, and you haven't heard the phone ringing in our office. And so if this is how you'd like to run your property management company, we took the time to explain best practices. I'd like to tell you in closing something that really makes a difference to me, and that is I didn't want my daughter and my family to be in the same trenches that I was in. I grew up doing property management, and it was hard, grueling work, customer service, angry people, not enough time to call people back when I should have had those calls handled well the first time. And now we've done it, and our quality of life is good. I'm actually proud to provide this opportunity to our family.
Yeah, it's night and day even from the beginning of when I started here.
Yeah.
To be able to have an attainable goal every day without being interrupted, it's huge for and the enjoyment.
Yeah. Well, so my other son Logan is our sales rep with Virtually Incredible, and look us up if we can help you with your phone system. And we'd love to help you with our call center to give you the quality of life you're looking for at your management company. And thanks for watching our video about best practices. And say goodbye to Steph in Manila.
Thanks, Steph.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. We love you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.